Hi guys, welcome back to another vlog. I have been MIA for a fat minute and I just wanted to get back on to the vloggity vlogs. So yeah, pretty much I'm gonna explain why I guess I went MIA. Well, first of all, the beginning of the year was not the greatest. Don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful, that the Lord has, provided everything and anything for, my family from 25 to 26 to the start of 26 and, and so on. But, 2026 did not start off on the greatest, I guess. I remember my last vlog was probably like around the beginning of January, and then I just kind of went ghost. And when things in life happen like all of a sudden and you just kind of just go MIA, you don't want to know about anything, you don't want to like talk to anyone or whatever. Yeah, that was me. So I'm just gonna give this kind of a story timeline. So my parents, they're Mexico travelers. They head to Mexico either in June or in December, per usual. Sorry, my meat stick is here. Not that kind. This is a Sam's Club jalapeno meat stick. But anyways, so they go to Mexico in June and December, to visit family, spend time with family, parties, all that stuff. And this past December 2025 they went, but prior to them going, I noticed my dad kind of very fatigued, tired all the time, and he was still full-time working with his construction company. And my family and I started to notice, that he was very tired all the time. But we kind of just, in our mind was like, oh, it's because of work. This man put in 12 plus hours every single day, Monday through Friday, heavy duty construction out in the sun. And that was our initial thoughts. So fast forward, they go to Mexico, and they had a great vacation, spent time with the fam, came back. We still noticed that fatigueness, that tiredness, that kind of like just wanted to be in bed all the time type. January comes around. My dad, now this is where we kind of, jacked up stuff, but us as Mexicans, we try and find the cheapest crap to do our stuff. And what I refer to is, for example, if you have like an ache, like a backache, or your cintura hurts, or your shoulders hurt, or for whatever, you go to a sobandero. I'm sure people are familiar with sobanderos. Now they either, do these massages like at home or like at the pulga, a flea market, aka. That's what my dad did because he was complaining of shoulder pain. So he went to the pulga and he got a sobada, and this is where everything went downhill. He went to the pulga, had his sobada, and about maybe the sobada was maybe like an hour or 2 hours long, because this guy, it was a ghetto place to begin with, so I do not recommend you go to a sobandero at the flea market. Go to a chiropractor who knows what they are doing. Don't go to the flea market. Anyways, so my dad went to the sobandero. They did what they did, whatever, because he was complaining of shoulder pain after he got back from Mexico. And he's a little bit older too. He's in his 60s, that range. So he went to the sobandero. After he was done with the sobandero, about 20 minutes later, he said he started to feel very dizzy. Everything was kind of spinning around the room type. And the best way that I can describe it, or the way that my mom described it, because she was the one that was with him at the time, And she was the one that, started to know all these symptoms along with my dad. But basically, once he was done, 20 minutes later, he didn't collapse, but he was starting to lose balance, in his legs. Another 20 minutes passed by. By this time, they were already heading to the grocery store after the flea market. And he noticed that he wasn't feeling well from the drive from the flea market to the grocery store. He noticed that his right side of his body was going numb. He was feeling very tired, like wanting to close his eyes. And keep in mind, he was driving. The flea market to the grocery store was about 20 minutes. So during those 20 minutes, he was not in the greatest shape. So by the time they get to the grocery store, he opens the door. By this time, when he was opening the door, my mom had already came around the truck and was waiting for him at the tailgate. When he opened the door and was about to take a foot to, onto the concrete pavement, he collapsed. He completely full on collapsed, but was able to catch himself to where he fell inside the vehicle and was able to keep his eyes open. But while this was all happening, and as he was mentioning to my mom that he wasn't feeling well from the drive of the pulga to the grocery store, my mom thought maybe he was low on sugar. He is a diabetic, and he always has to have his certain medications at a certain time, healthy diet, all that stuff. So going back to the grocery store, he completely collapsed. Luckily, there was a lovely man who helped my mom out after he had collapsed, and was able to pick him up and put him back into the driver's seat of the car so he could kind of, wake up, give him some water, give him something, sugary to see if, that would help him get better. And he was not in the greatest condition. So my mom said, screw this, we're going home. I'm calling Jen to let her know that, something's going on. I believe she called my siblings, but I wasn't too sure. I wasn't there when this happened, but yeah, this happened. So they get to my house, and as soon as they pull up into the garage, I went outside. It was one of probably the coldest days that we had in Florida, and as soon as I opened the door, my dad just completely fell basically into my husband's arms because he could not walk. He was completely numb on the right side of his body, arms, legs, everything. So we freaked out. My whole family freaked out, and we still continue to think that it was maybe his diabetes. So we brought him into my house. We gave him apple juice to see if that would spike it back up. That was not working. A few hours passed, and he was still the same. And finally, my mom and I and my siblings, we all agreed, hey, we need to go to the hospital. This is not okay. This is not normal for him. Something is going on. So we go to the hospital, and before we went to the hospital, because he was actually transferred to the hospital, like big main hospital, we went to like an urgent care facility just to kind of rule out, before we went to the hospital, if this was something that was, diabetic related, or was this something more serious. So they finally, were asking us questions. They started to do an assessment on him in the room that he was in. And they were asking all these questions, and everything that I was answering to them came to the conclusion that he had a stroke because of the sobandero. He had already had underlying conditions, and we found all this out as, tests were being ran and imaging was being ran, all that stuff. But the stroke was caused because of the sobandero. This guy had, I believe, wrapped a towel around my dad's neck, pulled it, and caused a blood clot to run to his brain and pretty much shock him into having a stroke. At first they diagnosed it as a mini stroke, but as they started to do MRIs, scans and blood work, they concluded it to be a full-on, stroke. So, after that once they diagnosed him, he got admitted into the hospital. He was in the hospital for about a week, to see if another stroke would happen and just to monitor him. That way, if it did happen, you know, they were able to do something then and there. Luckily, everything went fine while he was hospitalized. But, you know, no one likes hospitals. It was a very scary situation for, you know, all of us, you know, our family. And that's pretty much why I went MIA, guys. Once he got discharged from the hospital, it was appointment after appointment after appointment, back to back, every single day, trying to get, you know, in with cardiologists, with neurologists, his primary cares, bunch of medications that he had to start immediately. And the doctor who's seen him at the hospital, you know, pretty much said, hey, we need to go in and do a surgery, which is a carotid endarterectomy, I believe I'm saying it correctly, which is pretty much an incision on his neck, to clean out one of the two main arteries that are running, you know, blood flow, you know, function to your brain, your heart, everything, to clean out any plaque that's built up in your arteries that can cause blood clots to form and cause a stroke. So that was a big shocker to all of us. We were not prepared to hear those news from the doctors at the hospital. So, you know, we had to make a decision between my family and I if this is something that we wanted to write out or if we wanted to proceed with the surgery. But there was, you know, risks, you know, acquaintant to the surgery. And this is where we were just kind of on the borderline of, you know, is this something that he needs to get done, or is this something that we can just, you know, wait out and hope for the best? And we decided that it was the best option for him to go through and have surgery. And the doctor did, you know, explain to us that if the surgery happened, there was a very high chance that another stroke would happen on the operating room table. And if it did, there was nothing that they would be able to do. It's kind of hard still for me to talk about it. But anyways, we prayed as a family. We, you know, hoped for the best and left it in. Sorry guys, it's still very hard for me to talk about it sometimes, you know, after everything that we went through. But yeah, pretty much, you know, we decided to make the decision that, you know, if it was time for him to go, then we were going to accept, you know, the fact that it was time for him to go. But we also remained very positive that everything was going to be fine. And we had a surgery date for him to go and have this procedure done. And by the grace of God, you know, everything came out amazing. The doctors were great. After surgery, he did spend about a day and a half in ICU just to monitor, you know, his blood pressure, his, you know, brain function, his heart function. And then he got, I guess, pushed down to a lower level of care in the hospital. And, you know, I can't stress enough that we were so fortunate and blessed that, you know, everything came out good. And, you know, he's here with us and he's doing great. You know, he's healthy, he's happy. His, what's the word? His body language is so much more different. You know, he has so much more energy. You know, he's strong. He made it out of there strong. And that's the most important thing that was, you know, important for our family. And yeah, that's pretty much why I have been so MIA in the YouTube vlogging, because this all was a big, you know, slap in the face to all of us, where it happened so fast and so quickly and we were not prepared. And, you know, I tried and I'm so grateful that I was there for, you know, my dad, my mom, my family in general, because I always tell, you know, anyone that I come across, you know, my parents did their part in raising us. They did everything that they could. And when this happened, it was, sorry guys, this video got just, it's all over the place. But anyways, yeah, my parents, you know, did their job in raising my siblings and I, you know, and doing everything that they could for us to provide, to have a roof over our heads, food, you know, clothes on our back, everything. And when this happened, it was our turn as, you know, their children to take care of my dad, my mom, you know, her mental state. It was very stressful. And I'm just so glad that I was able to do that for them as their children, because no one wants to see, you know, anyone of your parents go through situations like that. It's very scary and very terrifying when, you know, doctors tell you, no, well, this can happen, that can happen. And I cannot, you know, stress, you know, enough that just don't go to the damn flea market to, you know, because it's cheaper, because it's a Mexican way. No, just don't do it, guys. You know, situations like these you never think can happen, but they do happen. And we were unfortunate that this happened to my dad. And I'm just blessed, and I'm just very happy that, you know, God is so big and he does amazing things for us, and we don't see it sometimes, and we're very hard-headed. But he does so many beautiful things in life that, you know, we need to be grateful for, and always, you know, be thankful for everything. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much why I've been MIA. You know, I'm ready to get back into the vlogs. I'm excited to vlog, you know, more, you know, things that happen, you know, in life. It's just that these were some times and moments where I needed to just step away from the camera and focus on my family and just be there for my family. And I'm very happy that I, you know, did that. I'm grateful also for my job, who was very, you know, kind and, you know, was there for me every step of the way. So yeah, I'm just glad that I'm back on here and I'm ready to film. And, you know, it's not gonna nothing be fancy, just everyday life, nothing crazy. But yeah, guys, so just stay tuned for the rest of the video. I'm hopefully gonna upload this by this weekend, that way you guys can enjoy. So yeah, just stay tuned. All right, good morning, guys. Welcome to another vlog. This is the following day after the clip before. It's Thursday. It's my Friday. Thank you, Lord Jesus. You know, we made it through another week. So I'm on my way to work. I stopped by Starbucks and did the little my coffee trend, whatever. So this is her. She's looking real espresso-ish. So I got, oh, this is what it looks like. First of all, it looks really, really good. I got a iced triple espresso in a venti cup with brown sugar cold foam, and I just followed a TikTok that came up on my TikTok, so I'm just reading it what it was. So yeah, I got an iced triple espresso with brown sugar cold foam, 1 pump of vanilla syrup, 2 pumps of brown sugar syrup, 1 pump of white mocha, a splash of oat milk, and then light caramel drizzle. I hope this isn't sweet. It sounds very, very sweet, but I'm just gonna give it a whirl. Okay. It's actually not that sweet, and it's very good. And I can taste the espresso, which I should, because it was a triple espresso. And because the World Cup starts today, I got a free little one koozie, I think, something like this. So it's cute. So yeah, that's a good day to start off the day. It's a good part to start off the day. But yeah, I'm just heading to work. I have a busy schedule, so let's get this day started and let's get through it. So yeah. Action.
Pause what? So today Jennifer got a mango pineapple refresher with protein milk. Let's give it a test. Ah, the controlled diet is right here.
Again?
What do you mean again? Drink. You zoomed in on my hair. Sorry guys, it's been a rough month. Haven't gotten a haircut.
Wonder why. Good morning. It is it's Sunday. It is 10:52. I just dropped Ezekiel off. Actually, not just, but I dropped Ezekiel off at his game, and I had to run a couple errands, and now I'm at the thrift store because why not? Anyways, yeah, guys, I didn't vlog yesterday because I was just an emotional wreck. We had my cousin's daughter's birthday party, and we were joining them for the festivities. So yeah, we dropped my parents off at the airport. They were going to Mexico, and I was just an emotional wreck and just wanted to spend time with them and not, you know, be in front of the camera. So after that, we went to the birthday party. I'll insert some funny clips here of Mr. Ezra, who overcame his fear on water slides. So yeah, I'll insert some clips here. Other than that, yeah, it's Sunday. We're at the thrift store. We're gonna wait for hubby to finish his game, and then we'll go pick him back up. So yeah, let's see what we find at the thrift store, and we'll see what the day consists of. I'm still kind of shy to vlog in here, but I found a couple things already at the store. Okay guys, so I found a couple of things. Some shorts, some cute tops. We're gonna try it on and see how it looks. Okay, so these are the shorts. Cute, ignore that. Cute, good size. This is this, it's almost like a skin stoop t-shirt. It's very nice, cute. Yes. Okay, third item is this cute little top. It is nice. I just am not a fan of like how low this is. I don't know. It feels weird, but it has a cute back to it. Like, I don't know if you can see. I don't know. Indecisive. Okay, the last top is this Old Navy tank. I think it's really cute. Fits nice, so yes. Okay, we're back with Ezekiel. How do you feel? Did you win or lose?
We lost.
What was the score?
Just say we lost.
What's wrong?
I'm sore.
Aww.
Oh my god, this is my gym!
Anyways, guys, that concludes our Sunday fun day. Stay tuned for next week for another video.
Bye!
Bye.
Say like, comment,
Comment,
and subscribe.
subscribe.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week.